Hello, PEQDF here. Um, Normally, I wouldn't talk about American policies because, well, I got nothing to do with them. I don't live in America. But in America at the moment, they are talking about dropping the don't ask, don't tell policy. And for people who don't know what that means, it means that you can't be openly gay in the military. You can be gay, but you can't tell your surrounding troops or your officers because you will be discharged. So if you're gay, you can't tell anybody. Um, Now, this is none of my business because it's American policy. They have to find out. That's a democracy. The people in that country can decide if they will drop it or not. That's their business. But yesterday, Mr. General, it's a retired general, General John J. Sheehan, made it my business because he talked about the Dutch army and he called a Dutchman. And I'm going to react on it. So I'm going to call him on it. You will see two people talking. The first one is Senator Levin. He is pro dropping the policy. And then you will see the general himself.
Did you, or did they tell you, those allies who allow open service of gay and lesbian men and women, did they tell you that they had unit cohesion or morale problems?
Yes, sir, they did. If you don't beg the indulgence,
Sure.
Most of this committee knows that current militaries are a product of years of development. They reflect societies that they're theoretically paid to protect.
Ooh, I wonder what he thinks about European societies.
The European militaries today are a product of the collapse of the Soviet Union. Nations like Belgium, Luxembourg, the Dutch, etc., firmly believed there was no longer a need for an active combat capability in the militaries.
So that's why you trust us so much in developing new arms technologies.
As a result, they declared a peace dividend and made a conscious effort to socialize their military. That included the unionization of the militaries. It included open
Come on, you can say it.
homosexuality.
Yes, that's it.
Demonstrated in a series of other activities with a focus on peacekeeping operations.
He's going to talk about Sebrenica soon. And Sebrenica was a peacekeeping mission. That was the mission the UN gave us. The UN gave us. If the Dutch army wanted to return fire, for example, or engage in combat, they had to wait for UN orders and permission. They couldn't decide that by themselves.
That led to a force that was ill-equipped to go to war.
Mostly American weapons, though.
The case in point that I'm referring to is when the Dutch were required to defend Srebrenica against the Serbs.
See, told you. Actually, the Dutch did investigate this matter really, really deep. We did a hearing over this. Well, hearings. It was as big a deal as the 9/11 Commission in the United States. But here it was done in full public view, where everybody was under oath. A government has fallen over this. We have investigated this.
The battalion was under strength, poorly led, and the Serbs came into town, handcuffed the soldiers to the telephone poles.
Again, we were there to deter by presence. That was the UN policy. We had to be there, armed, and as UN troops to deter the Serbs from entering. From shooting at UN soldiers, that is. They did enter. We didn't have the mandate to attack Serbian troops.
Marched the Muslims off and executed them. That was the largest massacre in Europe since World War II.
It was the largest massacre since World War II. Thousands of Muslim men and boys perished. And you are going to use that to prevent gays from speaking out that they are gay in the army.
Did the Dutch leaders tell you it was because there were gay soldiers there?
It was a combination.
Did they tell you that? That's my
Yes.
question. They did.
They included that as part of the problem.
That there were gay soldiers
That there,
among
the
the Dutch
combination was the liberalization of the military, a net effect of basically social engineering.
So allowing gays to be openly gay in the military is social engineering?
Can you tell us what Dutch officers you talked to who said that Srebrenica was in part caused because there were gay soldiers in the Dutch army?
I for one want to know that.
Chief of Staff of the Army who was fired by the Parliament because they couldn't find anybody else to blame.
Chief of Staff. I'll Google that.
And who was that?
Hank von Brummen.
The what?
Hank von Brummen.
Only thing I could find, Mr. Shiesnan, was Mr. Henk van der Bremen. He was Chief of Staff of the Defense Department during Sebrenica. He was Chief of Staff from 1994 till 1998. In other words, that's a whole period from election to election. He was never fired as Chief of Staff of the Defense Department. As Mr. Sheenan says, the Srebrenica disaster. So, where did this come from? Because Mr. Henk van den Bremen, or Henk van der Bremen, Henk van den Bremen, as we call him, has already denied this. He never said that the cause of the Sebrenica was open, people who were open about their gay lifestyle in the military. So where did he get this from? I think I know where he got this. Out of his own ass!